Okay, so goal 3.1 is really pretty simple, okay? We're just adding and subtracting polynomials, okay? To do that, we're going to have to look for terms that are alike. Like terms are terms, we've talked about it before, with the same variable expression, which means the letter and the exponent have to be exactly the same to add them together, okay? If they're being added together, like this first example that I'm going to do in a minute, this is like two groups being added together. When there is an addition sign there, those parentheses mean absolutely nothing. You can ignore them. However, when there's a subtraction sign, like we'll do on the second example, the parentheses are hugely important. Okay? So there is a difference between the addition and subtraction. Okay? So let's start. But as I said, they're not super complicated. Since this is a plus sign, we're going to just ignore the parentheses. We're not going to make any changes, and we're going to look for like terms. These are alike. Positive 6 and minus 2. X to the thirds. That's why they're alike, because they're x to the third, so I can collect those. 6 minus 2 is 4. X to the third. Power doesn't change. My constants, those are the numbers that don't have any letters with them. Those are alike. I can combine those. Negative 4 plus 9, positive 5. That's my answer. Can't go any further because they're not alike. That's as far as you can go. Now, this next one is a subtraction. That's a big deal. When there's a subtraction, there are changes that you have to make before you can add stuff together. Okay? I tend to be a person who is a rewriter when there's a subtraction question, so I'm going to do that. It would not be necessary, and I'll show you what I mean after I do it the way I like to do it. So the first parentheses doesn't have anything in front of it. So nothing's going to change in there. It's just going to come down as it is. I'm not changing anything at all. But this has a minus in front of the second parentheses. So that means this minus has to be basically distributed to both of those terms, or all of the terms in the parentheses, which just changes the sign. So this minus times that plus makes that a minus x to the second. And this minus times that plus makes that a minus 2x. So it changed the signs and dropped the parentheses. Did your hand go up?
Oh, I sleep.
You what? You're good?
It's like my sweatshirt.
Okay. Okay. Just want to make sure you didn't have a question before I continue. Okay, so now let's look for like terms. I don't have any other x to the thirds. So that one's just going to come down, that first term. I have a minus 2x squared and a minus 1x squared. So my x squareds are alike. Negative 2 and negative 1, negative 3. My x's, plain x's, no power on them, those are alike. Positive 5 and minus 2, or 5 minus 2 gives me 3, positive 3, x. And then my constant term can just come down. It has nothing to be combined with. So that would be my final answer. Okay. Now, as I said, I tend to be a person who rewrites things. Okay? So that's what I did. But it's not absolutely necessary. I'm going to keep doing that. But you could just change your signs right here in the parentheses and still do what I did here if you want to do that. Okay? I'm going to keep rewriting it right now. But you could do this. Let me erase so I can show you what I'm saying. Easier to show you. So I could go in, and if I know that's a minus, then this changes to a minus, this changes to a minus, and then I could just collect my like terms. I don't typically do that. Okay, so I am distributing that negative. But you can shorten it up for yourself. Okay, on this next example, my sign is minus. So that means that the terms that are in the second parentheses are all going to change. The first parentheses, nothing is changing. There's nothing in front of that. So all of this just comes down as it looks. And then this minus to the positive changes it to minus. Minus to a positive changes it to minus. Minus to minus changes it to positive. So you'll note the signs of all three of these things change to the opposite, drops the parentheses. And then we'll look for like terms. X to the third, x to the third. Negative 4 and negative 4 do not cancel each other out. It's not negative and positive. Negative 4 and negative 4 gives me negative 8, x to the third. I have a minus 2x, nothing to combine it with. I have a minus 3x squared, nothing to combine it with. I don't care what answer, or what, what order you leave your answers in. Some people like to leave it in a special order. I'm not picky about that right now. But they had nothing to be added to, so they just came down. And then minus 8 and positive 5 gives me minus 3. In no particular order. My next question is an addition, which means I'm going to have to change nothing. So I'm going to look for like terms. Here I have an x squared y. Here I have an x squared y. So those can be put together. Positive 3 minus 7 gives me negative 4 x squared y. And then my other terms, there's only two there. Negative 2x squared and a positive y, nothing to be put with. So negative 2x squared and positive y just come down. In any order. Doesn't matter which one you put first or which one you put second. And my last example here, you'll notice that 1 is a plus and 1 is a minus. So, first parentheses, not going to change because there's nothing in front of it. So 7x squared minus 8 comes down. Second parentheses has a plus in front of it, which means nothing changes. Plus 5x plus 2 comes down. Minus in front of this parentheses means that those signs are all going to change to the opposite. So minus to a positive x squared makes it a minus x squared. Minus to a minus makes it a positive 3x. And minus to a positive makes it a minus 3. And I just lost my airplane, for whatever reason. Okay, so let's look for like terms. X squared, x squared. So I have positive 7 and minus understood 1. So 7 minus 1 is 6, x to the second. Let's look for x's next. X, x. So positive 5 and positive 3 is positive 8, x. And then my constant terms. Negative 8 plus 2 minus 3. And you can punch it in your calculator just like that. Negative 8 plus 2 minus 3. And you're going to get minus 9. Okay, question on that? Okay, we're gonna stop with that one, and we're gonna do these, the OTL for this first before I go to the next thing. Okay, so, page 1095 to 1097. So right now, we're gonna stop to do this, and then we're gonna go to the next set of notes. But we're gonna do these, actually, there's 6 questions, I apologize, not 5. Okay, so we're gonna stop, do these 6 before we go to the next set.